Hello, welcome to OnQA. So in this presentation, we are going to talk about the application architectures. So basically, what is an architecture? So architecture is the way which would be utilized to represent the application. And it is the way that the applications are being designed and implemented such that these architectures are easily manageable, scalable and reliable. And there are so many architectures which are part of the applications. So let's go and learn step by step all about the applications architecture. Let's get started. And in this session, we are going to target and learn about all the different modes of architectures of the application. The first one, the one-tier architecture, or known to be the standalone application. The second one, the two-tier architecture, or known to be the client-server architecture. The third one, known to be the three-tier architecture. Fourth one, the n-tier architecture. So let's go and learn about each and every architecture step by step. The first one, what is basically an architecture? So architecture represents the application, the way that the applications are being designed and implemented such that this kind of architecture is scalable, reliable and easily manageable. And there are four kinds of architectures available. One-tier architecture, known to be standalone. Two-tier architectures, known to be client-server model. Three-tier architecture for most of the web-based application, and n-tier architecture for most of the banking and financial domain applications. So let's go and learn one by one. So what is single-tier architecture? So, or standalone application. Standalone applications are those which where they got installed, they would work only in that machine. I repeat, standalone applications are those wherever they get installed, they would work only in that particular box, in that particular machine. Example, Notepad, Paint. So wherever they get installed or they get initiated, they would work particularly in that machine. They don't require any other third-party controls or any other servers or any other processes to work with them. It's all independent, individual, single components. They work independently in the boxes wherever they belong to. The examples, Notepad and Paint kind of applications. And then we do have two-tier architecture. Basically, the two-tier architecture applications are known to be the client-server application model, where the client and server would work closely to each other. Client would always try sending the request and server would always try sending the responses, and client and server would always have the transaction sharing all the times. And most of the businesses, most of the hospital management, most of the supermarkets would have such models where they could install or they could set up a server in common place and they could access the server with the clients. All the hospital management systems, all the supermarket management systems would have the same category of systems, client server model. They could have multiple boxes working as a client, but there is one server which would be placed, set up somewhere. All the clients would interact, send the request and try to reach out the server. Server would respond back and keep updating all the things needed in the client side. So this is all about the two-tier architectures. And then we do have the three-tier architecture. So what is a three-tier architecture? So three-tier architecture is basically representing in three layers: the presentation layer, the application layer and the data layer. So presentation layer is all about representing the application UI. The application layer is all about taking care of all the transactions, request, response, everything. The database layer is all about storing multiple sets of data or heavy data, and whenever it's needed, representing that back to the application. So in the three-tier architecture, all the presentation layer, application layer, data layer would work closely so that at the end user would feel everything perfect at the client side. If you look at the diagram on the slide, it's a very simple to understand. We could utilize certain browsers, IE browser, Chrome browser, Firefox browser, and we open the application. As we open the application, when we need or when we start interacting with the application takes our request and try to respond back with certain data. If the data is from the database, it also interacts the database and gets required data and represent back to the UI. It's all multiple support between the UI, between the application, between the data server. They work closely. At the end, they respond politely, effective at the client side. So that's all about the three-tier architecture. So most of the web-based applications in the point of e-commerce, in the point of online purchasable applications would belong to this category. And then we have the next category called as a entire application. In the entire application, it's not one application layer or it's not one database layer. There could be multiple application layers. There could be multiple database layers. And that's the reason while we interact everything at the client side, the application server might need multiple transactions, multiple user load support, multiple data, so they could be segmented and in multiple servers. Especially all the banking applications, all the insurance based applications would fall under this entire application architecture, because in this entire application architecture they need to maintain and support lots of users, lots of user data. So one particular server might not be sufficient all the times, so they would utilize multiple application servers, they would utilize multiple web servers, they would utilize multiple database servers. At the end, they maintain the user load effectively, they maintain user data effectively, and they could pump in a faster mode the request response back to the UI or back to the client. It works perfectly such a way all the things whatever they maintain user might not know at a client side. So this is known to be the entire application architecture. And most of the web applications of bankings and financial domains, insurance fall under this category. So let me have a look at the evaluation of the application architectures. So there are 4 architectures: standalone, client server, three-tier applications, entire, and slowly these days there is a cloud migrated architecture. And in the cloud, they maintain all the distributed services. So from the client, there could be multiple transactions rendered, multiple responses rendered, multiple data is being sent. So multiple, all kinds of request response, everything is handled through the cloud. Such cloud systems are known to be migrated architectures. So more slow by slow, the applications are being migrated towards the cloud. And that it to come in full-fledged, but it is going to be in shorter span. So this is all about the application architectures. I think you are very clear about the application architecture. So architecture is the way that it represents the application so that it's being designed and implemented. There are 4 types of architectures: standalone or one tier, 2 tier or known to be client server, 3 tier, entire. And entire is slowly represented as a migratory, nothing but cloud systems. So that is all about the application architecture. So thank you so much for watching the video. Please visit earnqa.com. There are plenty of stuff regarding the automation, test management, performance testing, functional testing. Keep watching. Enjoy.